Won't you take me by the hand? Won't you let me know what's up in your head? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me, and that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, as long as you're happy. Won't you let me know what's real? Won't you tell me just for once how you feel? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me, and that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, as long as you're happy. Won't you take me by the hand? Won't you let me know what's up in your head? And I know, oh, it might not be the right time for you and me, and that's okay, as long as you're happy. Yeah, that's okay, if you wanna be without me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. I gotta check this chair because
I gave you the good chair.
yeah, I know. My chair, ladies and gentlemen, was ready to collapse.
No, I fixed it.
Yeah.
We fixed it.
They're putting screws on this chair like it had nobody's business.
So I gave you mine.
So they tell me, here, Freddie, how do I know that you gave me that good chair?
Ask Bree. She saw me switch it
Oh
all
yeah,
around.
I'm beginning to think that the women in this place are like very.
We're keeping you safe and sound in my chair.
So
Don't
if I
you
go
worry.
down, I want you to capture.
You need to really come to the light on this side. You're this whole negative situation.
I'm not negative.
What is that?
It hurts when you fall off a chair.
Don't fall then.
And I can tell that she's a little nervous because she's like,
I'm good. Well, good. We've had a very, very busy day here already this morning. We've done our morning show. We had Ivy's Inspirations. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We've got Tony Maltato of Stand with Parkland joining us for a quick call, see what's going on with some of the new legislation. They've got March for Our Lives happening on Saturday, so maybe Haley will be able to join us and get her out of Studio B and talk about that, because Haley was one of the students who was at Parkland as a freshman when everything happened. So we're going to touch base a little bit on that. We're talking real estate today. We've got Alma Gutierrez of Statewide Florida Realty joining us. We've got Paul Solomon of Luhu Senior Advisors. Ivy and Jordan are joining us. We've got a full set.
that's right. So is he on or is he not on?
And the music that you heard kicked off our show with Rio Patterson. And I have to tell you, unbelievable.
It's going to be dropped today. It'll be available for purchase. He's available to do gigs. It'll be out by next week.
His whole album, though, is spectacular.
He's on? All right, let's jump because he has to go.
Let's
and I want to
bring-
get this in.
Awesome. I'm very excited and very, very grateful to Tony Maltato for joining us on today's show virtually. I reached out to him very last minute, and he was gracious enough to put us into his busy schedule.
Let's do this.
Let's bring him over. Hey, Tony, how are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. A lovely picture of your daughter behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. And on such last minute, I reached out to Tony this morning because we're Thursday, and I know there's all kinds of people trying to pass legislation. Everyone's up on the Hill voicing what's going on, what they want done. So I want Tony, give us a little bit of information of what you hear is happening right now with gun reform and what they're looking to work with.
Right. Well, as a reminder, Stand with Parkland, the National Association of Families for Safe Schools, which I'm president of, and was founded by the families who had a loved one taken in the Stoneman Douglas shooting here in Parkland in February of 2018. We've had a very consistent, uniquely inclusive and nonpartisan message that we've been bringing up to Washington for the last 4 years. And that has been the need to look at our school safety triad, which is securing the campus, better mental health screening and support programs, and finally, if you choose to own one, responsible firearms ownership. All three of those things push and pull on one another to make our students and teachers safer at school. We're very saddened, of course, that it's taken yet another tragedy where our nation's future, our students and our teachers, have been murdered in their school to prompt congressional action. However, we have to take advantage of the momentum, and we're hopeful that this time we will see continued progress. We see that they're talking about possibly passing some form of red flag law or incentivizing states to pass red flag laws. We know that the red flag laws are very effective. After Parkland, 15 additional states, as well as the District of Columbia, passed them. We now have them in 40% of our states. In Florida, of course, sadly, we passed it after the shooting in Parkland. However, since then, in the 4 years, it's been used over 8,000 times to proactively remove weapons from those that have been deemed a threat to themselves or others, after providing them a due process piece. We think it's been very effective here in Florida in prevention. And we think it's quite frankly a model that should be used for the entire country. Red flag laws in general, or extreme risk protection orders, are a very proactive method to stop violence with weapons, because it allows people to have their surrender their weapons and then get the help they need before they resort to violence. Another piece that we've been working on federally that was introduced by Ted Deutsch and Mario Diaz-Balart, among other bipartisan members of the House, is the Eagles Act. And the Eagles Act, named after the mascot at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, would provide additional funding to the U.S. Secret Service and its National Threat Assessment Center to allow them to continue their research on how to prevent school shootings, as well as go out throughout our nation and train our school professionals, mental health professionals, and law enforcement on how to properly conduct a behavioral threat assessment, which again is the most proactive means of stopping someone before they resort to violence. So we're hopeful that both those will be included in whatever package comes out. And we're just, we're cautiously optimistic. We've been on this precipice before where they look like they're going to do something, and we hope that this time it actually gets passed.
Unfortunately, all the lives that were lost, and your beautiful daughter, Gina, of course, our condolences are always with you and all of the family members. You would think after this one horrific incident that happened, we wouldn't be having this conversation. How many times just in this past month alone have we seen such horrific tragedies? What can we do as community? What can we do as people to get the bipartisan vote, to take the politics out of this and really protect our families and our children? Because it's not political. I know they feel it is, but these are children going to school. These are families. These are our lives that politics should be, in my opinion, set aside for this.
Well, we have to realize that America is a big country, and what works here in South Florida might not work as effectively in Philadelphia or Montana or Alaska or Hawaii. And we have to be cautious when passing national laws. And one thing we can do is is make sure that this doesn't devolve into a Second Amendment debate or a gun rights debate, because that is only one piece of the puzzle. It's a piece that needs to be addressed without a doubt. But again, it's only one piece. We need to look at better mental health screening and support programs. We need to look at how to secure our campus. Just yesterday, I believe it was Tuesday, Governor DeSantis signed the latest school safety bill here in Florida. Stand with Parkland was very involved with that, and it's continuing the trend of 5 sessions in a row since the tragic murder of my daughter, 13 of her classmates, and 3 of our teachers, that we've seen Florida pass something to make our students and our teachers safer. We hope that the rest of the country can follow our lead to help prevent these tragedies. So what I say to the folks out there that are watching or listening is please get involved in your children's school. On our website at standwithparkland.org, under our resources, or under our Take Action tab, we've got 5 questions every family should ask on school safety. You need to probe and discuss with the administrators in your schools to see that they have a solid plan. Here in Florida, another initiative that we got passed is the Parents Need to Know initiative, and that was part of SB 590 that passed a year or 2 ago. And that requires our schools to inform parents and families when there's a threat to the school, when there's a threat to school transportation or to school-sponsored activities. This will allow families to have the information they need to keep their students safe. Sadly, we didn't have that in Parkland, and we did get it passed now, so everyone should have that here in Florida. Additionally, for the national stuff, you can sign on to standwithparkland.org. We have a Take Action tab, which you put your information in. It'll pre-propagate a message to your elected officials, and that will allow you to send your feelings that are written there to go to them and let them know how you feel. We need to have the voice of the middle heard. We need to have the voice of those of us who are tired of the politics and tired of the division and just want our students and teachers to be safe at school, to be heard. And Stand with Parkland can be your voice. We encourage everybody to join us, and let's get this done.
And Tony, as always, as we said before, anything that we could do to put the amplifier out there, to put it wherever you need, you're more than welcome. You can bring whoever you want to bring. It's an important subject. I think that your plan with alterations in every state in the union will work. You know, it's not about Second Amendment anymore. It's about people having mental issues. And you got to get to them before they get to you. You know, we used to say, get before you get got. And unfortunately, the end game here is loss of life. I can't even begin to imagine how you feel. I can't even begin. So let's have conversations. Let's make more noise. More noise is what we need. And we got to wake up to the fact this is happening in schools. It's happening in anywhere you go. You can't even get a train without something bad happening. So enough is enough. And I know we don't have solutions. I'm not looking that we have solutions. Just more information so you can make right decisions.
But I agree with Tony wholeheartedly. We need to get those middle voices heard. We need to get the families, those that are going to put the politics aside on this. Protect our families, protect our children. For children to be afraid to go to school is not a way to live. For parents to be afraid to send their children for a proper public school education is not the way for families to live. It's not what our United States of America was founded on. And Second Amendment that's the politics of it. But these are families and these are children. And what I'm seeing is the next generation of kids are coming up in Parkland, and they're really taking front and center on this with March for Our Lives and Stand with Parkland. What events are happening on Saturday in our community?
Well, I believe there's a plan to have a March for Our Lives rally. You know, we think everybody needs to get involved any way they can. But again, we need to support the whole mission, that school safety triad that I mentioned, rather than, again, just make this about firearms. And we should always remember that March for Our Lives those surviving students got their voice because we lost 17 wonderful souls in Parkland. And we'd like to see the founders of March for Our Lives remember that and remember those individuals as they move forward with the next step of their mission.
We actually have a good friend of your daughter's joining us here today. So if you guys can give me a 3 shot.
Let me get a 3, please.
We've got Haley Gross is back this summer joining us as one of our in-house
Hello.
producers. And she happens to be here today. And I wanted to bring her on because Haley went through this with all of these families that went through this. So Haley, give us a little, and I know she struggles with this every day. And we talk about triggers that happen around this world, and this poor woman and everyone else, they're triggered every single time this happens. What's happening with you and your friends?
Recently, it's been kind of weird for us because we had been like the biggest shooting, and so when the elementary school shooting happened, we were like, we have to do something, but we don't really know what to do because it is not like happening in our community right now. It's somebody else's community. So we're kind of felt really defeated, I guess, because there wasn't a million events that we could go to and stuff like around us to like feel like we were actually like doing something, honoring. So I think we're just trying to come together, all of us, and kind of pay our respects to everyone that has to now go through what we're going through because they're kids. They so much younger than us, and I just can't believe that and imagine what those parents are going through right now.
And the triggers. Part of the legislation that you're working on, do they work with mental health components for helping the survivors, for the students, for the families, for the teachers, to bring more awareness and therapies to the schools and the community?
So actually, just last week, we were speaking with the White House Domestic Policy Council and mentioning just those things that the federal government can do, how they can support the families, how they can have prolonged mental health counselors and staffing for these children as they move forward through their school years. This traumatic event does not end once the cameras and the reporters leave. The pain and the suffering continues. We talked about how the families need support, how the teachers need to be taken care of and get help as well. And of course, how the students can help handle this.
Well, please keep us posted. Anything we can do from here to Radio Time. We're actually reaching now into New York and Boston on radio. Bigger
Great.
platforms, bigger presence. And I thank you so much from all of us here at the studio for taking the time and everything you've done and to join us. And again, to Gina and all of those lives that have been lost, our sincerest condolences.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Haley,
having me.
Thank you, Tony.
More to come. We're going to keep Haley joining us. Tony, it has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
All right, you want to
All right,
take
let's
a
take a
commercial
break?
break? More to come with this on this Thursday. Check out standwithparkland.org. Get your voices heard. See what's going on in legislation. Important things to be looking for to send your children to school. It's bigger than politics. These are families, mental health issues for everyone involved. Get your voice out there. See what's happening in your community. We're going to take a quick commercial break. You can give us a call. Our phone lines are open, 888-994-4995, Studio A. And we'll be right back.
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing. Luhu Advisors. Let us help you.
WEMP World. WEMP, the Women's Empowerment Token's mission is to support and empower women globally while providing a platform to educate women in the cryptocurrency market. Every transaction made through WEMP Token will support the WEMP Charity Wallet and women entrepreneurs. WEMP is here to stay. For more information, visit wemp.world. That's WEMP, WEMP.world.
House hunting is about to become easier than ever. Our interactive map zeroes in on available listings in your favorite neighborhoods, with all of the details you need to make an informed decision, as well as free email alerts as soon as a property matching your needs pops up in the market. We'll even give you a free and accurate evaluation of your home's value. Statewide Realty Group will make your next home less of a chore today.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
All right, we've got the information, and we are going to put this up, and we're going to bring Haley on because I want to hear more from Haley. And then, if you, Jordan, if you and your mom can just hang for a little bit, we'll bring you in on this. Stand with Parkland from March, June 11th. It is from 9 to 12 at the Pine Trails Amphitheater. Parking is available there. Please try to carpool. It's going to be crowded. Bring sunscreen, water, and signs for the march. March for Our Lives.
Where is it?
It is at Pine Trails Amphitheater, June 11th. It is
Parkland?
at Parkland. It is. I have the address 10555 Trails End. So it's got to be all the way west based on that information at the Trails End. So let's bring Haley in and I get more information because I understand they do a lot of these March for Our Lives. But you know what? People sort of become desensitized to these issues when it doesn't directly involve them. Unfortunately, there's so many horrific events that have been happening. Like you said, you feel as if it's your community now is not the same because it's everywhere now. It's totally changed. Tell us what's happening with you and your friends. Are you going to be at the March for Our Lives?
I actually did not know about it. I knew there's going to be a big March for Our Lives, another one like they have way back when in Washington. And me and my friends were talking about going to that one, but I didn't know there was going to be one in this weekend. But I'm definitely going to go with Ilana and probably my friend Alex too. But it was just upsetting the last time we had one of these events at like the community park, Pine Trails. It was for like the 14th. We had like usually like the visual kind of thing. It was a really bad turnout. I don't know if people just weren't in town, but like I felt like we were some of the only people there in my friend group, and it was just kind of like not really eventful. And it was nice, of course, but like.
Because in the beginning it was, I think, about paying remembrance to all the lives and the families from Parkland. Now it's even bigger. Now, unfortunately, that was one of the larger incidents and until here we go again and again and again, the amount that we've had in the past 3 weeks. And you told me one of your teachers has reached out to you and your friends.
Yeah, I actually saw him like this weekend at graduation. We had my brother's graduation from Stoneman Douglas, and he's been like pretty much like me and my friends. We were in the film program with him, and he was pretty much like our biggest supporter, like our like adopted dad. So he reached out to us, and we've been trying to maybe do a lunch, something. We did do a lunch with him around the 14th also, which was nice. But yeah, it's good to come together with people that know what you've been through and aren't gonna like shame you for getting triggered over something or just being sad because you want to feel sad about it.
I can't imagine. So let's bring Jordan and Ivy over. Jordan Milian and Ivy Deal, hosts of Ivy's Inspiration, Living Your Best Life, because they're sitting here and they're shaking their heads. And Jordan is close to your age. I mean, there's a difference, but definitely of your generation. And she's sitting here shaking her head. So I want to get your input, Jordan, on why this is resonating with you so much.
So I'm feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome, I think, sitting here now, because you hear these things on a daily basis, on a weekly basis at least, and it's so painful every single time. Even if you don't know the person that it's happened to, you know someone who has been through this exact situation, something very similar. And I just can say, you know, as a young woman, I stand with you and I feel for you. We will be there on Saturday. I just heard of it as well, but we will definitely be there, and we will support as best as we possibly can so that no family will have to go through this again. I mean, I definitely am getting, you know, triggered myself with losing my aunt over a reckless accident because someone made a poor decision to drink and drive. That's a huge movement, and I stand with people not drinking and driving, and that's something that I'm passionate about as well. And you know, I know people who live in Parkland. I, you know, now consider you someone that I can call a friend, and you can call on me as well. And I would love to just kind of support all the families and all the children who have experienced this. So mental health is so important. You know, that's why I'm in the field. And my mom, you know, Ivy can say she preaches that as well.
My heart goes out so deeply to any mother, father, or aunt or uncle or sibling that has to go through losing somebody that they love. We know it well, and it's extremely painful, especially something so random that you're not expecting. And it's just so tragic, and my heart just goes out. I have a frog in my throat listening to this beautiful young girl next to us talking about having to lose a friend to such a tragedy. And we need such help in our world, globally, in our communities, locally. We need so much change, and it has to start here on a very small scale of these personal incidents in order for people to see that it could happen anywhere at any time to anyone on a much larger scale. So we have to get control of it now and really take every life as if it were our own as seriously, and it's worse because it's our children's. And my heart just goes out so much. I'm just so taken back by it. But as a mother, I just want to say that we're going to be at the march, and I hope that everyone that's watching this will come and show support, and because you're not just marching for this school and these losses of lives, but you're marching for anyone who's ever had a tragedy like this and anybody who could possibly have one in the future. So I just hope for that they have a great turnout this year. They deserve that.
You know, your show is so great, and you talk about so many things and living your best life, and you do a lot of fitness and eating right. But the mental health component, Jordan, I know we touched on this when you all first started your show. For your generation, and Ivy, not to take our generation out of this, but for their generation, they never went to school feeling safe. You think about 9/11, they were babies. I mean, essentially babies. They were young. And life has changed ever since then. They never had the sense of freedom to go to the movies, to travel without fear of having your sneakers checked. For them, it's so different, that the mental health component, and Jordan, I think that may be one of the reasons why Freddie even said to you, to get your voices heard for your generation is bigger than we even realize when you hear stories like this. And we watch Haley, and she's unbelievable. But what you and your friends have to be going through inside that we don't see, I can't even imagine what that's like. And Jordan, as in this field, what are you seeing? Because this is where you work.
There simply are not enough resources for people our age, for people 65 and older. There are not enough resources out there. No one, you know, is kind of emphasizing this enough, but I think that's changing on a positive note. I think more people are realizing like, hey, it's not just about us anymore, about working out and feeling good. It is what is going on in your head, what is going on in your mind, how are you acting in society, what is happening around us, why are there so many world wars going on, and why is so much. I can't speak politically. I have imposter syndrome when it comes to this, but I will tell you time and time again, I will spend the rest of my life advocating for mental health, because that is our future and that is everything happening around us. It's a product of that. So, I mean, my company deals with those 65 and older, but we're hoping to add, kind of like our generation segment. I'm going to advocate for that because I feel so passionately about it. And I think that it can teach the children of the future and of our world just to be better than the past. So it's huge.
What is the name of your company again?
Total Life. You can go to totallife.com. You can seek help for those, for your loved ones or for yourself or for a caretaker of someone going through anything. And like Haley touched on, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, to mourn as long as you need to grieve. I've done it. Ivy has done it. We've all been through it in one way or another. But a mass tragedy like this one, it yearns for something larger, a larger resource. So listen to your friends when they say they need help. And, my company is there for those older who have lost, loved ones as well. So
That's the biggest
important.
frustration, that they think that so much is being done. It's not enough because we're putting our resources in places that it's not changing things. Mental health right now, it's deep. And I tell you this all the time. Kids in school, they have their own justice. They know what's going on, and they won't tell anything about others. They're beginning to, but they, snitches get stitches. They don't rat on anybody. They don't do that.
Well, I'm hoping things are going to change, because it's the only way
But
to
you
get some
have
of these
to-
things that he
Yeah,
spoke
but
about
you're
in
gonna have
effect.
to you're going to have to do something where change comes about because it's okay. I mean, for somebody to tell me that they feel bad about feeling bad, or they're hiding from the fact that they're mourning, for that to be a bigger part in her life than to put resources where it really needs to be, we got a problem. Even the solutions have a problem, because it isn't going where we need them. And unfortunately, I'm looking at it because I see my grandkids, I see the kids that are going to be born under your watch for your daughter and your son, and I worry about their kids, and I worry about this whole thing, because at the end of the day, we are all, I don't care how old you are, I don't care if you're 90 or if you're 12. Oh, I'm sorry, in that school, the 4th grader, right? How old does that make her?
9.
That she took blood from dead bodies and put it all over her?
9
and
years
hid,
old.
And hid, so that the killer would think that she was dead. Really? It's a 4th grader. This affects everybody. And if you think you're immune, and I understand the Constitution, and I understand why the Second Amendment can't be touched, because when you begin to touch parts on what built this country close to 300 years ago, you're going to have a different problem. I understand it. I get it. But I don't think that we can't make amendments and changes to make everybody feel a little bit safer. Just a little bit.
And have their voices heard.
It's a difficult deal because you don't want to change the history of this country. It's built on these walls. And once you start making these changes, did you see that they went after the justice? A guy was going to kill him, and they got him before he got there. Now, if that guy was coming after Freddie, they wouldn't get him, because I got no resources around me to protect me that way. I'm just trying to make a point. You got resources, put them in the right place.
I so agree. May I say one thing as a mother, just in closure on our part, we were so lucky to be able to sit here and listen to something so important as this subject. But there are so many senseless tragedies in the world, like that of my sister, that of her aunt, and so many who people fall asleep at a wheel, they party too much the night before, they're senseless. So many senseless tragedies that happen on a daily basis. Just so many families that have to endure that. Then you have this, purposeful tragedies of people that are, skewed with hate, and whatever their mental health deficits are, that cause them to do this, anger, pain. I don't know what it is. I can't even fathom it. But there are two realms of tragedies that people have to go through, the senseless and the purposeful. And for the purposeful, like Freddie said, there have to be laws, there have to be things put in place, there has to be more awareness, there has to be change. Without change, without progress, these things can continue. Copycat things, horrible things, and I don't see change happening. So as a mother, I can tell you that the most important thing, and as a father, is our children. There is nothing more vital than that as human beings. And I speak, I'm sure, for all parents. So I'm so truly moved by this beautiful girl next to us, as I said, and her story, having to witness something like that, having to have that follow her the rest of her life. So let's do something about it, whatever that takes. Let's implement it. Let's get it done. Let's have a life that's better for our next generation and their next generation and their next generation.
It's
That's all
funny
there is.
because the mom that was interviewed went in, the cops handcuffed her. Did you see this story?
Yep.
They handcuffed her. And they said, okay, let her go. And she says, you know what? Give me a bulletproof vest, give me a gun, give me a stick, give me a rock. I'm going to go get my kid. And those of you who have guns, you either follow me or I go in alone. So I came up with that. Get all the parents together in one of these school incidents. Just let them in there. You know what? The cops, get out of the way because there's too much tactical, there's too much this. Send parents in there, and like she just said, parents are going to be the first one in line. They're going to go in and they're going to get their kids. So,
Absolutely.
So there's my 2 cents on this thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It was a very important topic. I'm so glad we stayed.
I'm so glad you stayed. And next week, your show is going to be about?
Next week, it's going to be on more health and wellness from the inside out and the outside in, and really just being a better person overall, which is really intertwined in everything in life, is to be our best health mentally, physically, and in all ways. So we're going to just talk with an amazing guest who's going to teach us how to better do that.
That's 10:30, correct?
10:30 Thursday live right here at the AMP Media Production Studio.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
What a great show. Great show for this morning. All right, we're going to
Thank
take a quick commercial break, regroup. Today is National Donald Duck Day, apparently, whatever that means. Stay tuned. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. Studio A. We got some things coming up, and we'll be right back.
Breathing through my troubles, trying to be smart, living with another, passion in my heart, partners come and go, always with a twirl.
Providing music you will enjoy. JM Production performers will brighten up your stage. Condominiums and residential communities, nightclubs and restaurants that want to provide top quality singers and entertainers for their social events, banquets, celebrations, and their customers use JM Productions to ensure that they have an uplifting and beautiful event. Now, tune in for the show.
Amy Reshevsky can help you choose the right piece that will add some magic to your space. Amy Reshevsky has a wide range of art, from abstracts to mosaic tapestries, and she paints on different surfaces, such as reverse painting on glass, tables, wall hangings, and sculptures. Her work can be ordered online at amyreshevsky.com, or you can come in and see it in real time at the Brooklyn Cafe Art Gallery. She also does commission work, so if you have an idea in mind, she can make it a reality. She invites you to reach out to her at Facebook or at email at amyreshevsky@gmail.com. That's amyreshevsky@gmail.com. Have an artful day.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Cool, calm, collected. Needing a drink to end a long day, or maybe to start your vacation right? Gubba Rum is here to let you kick back and do just that. Inspired by a technique that dates back to the 1800s, these artisanal, organic, and naturally infused rums are made from pure cane and the finest fruits, spices, and herbs the world has to offer. Gubba Silver is infused with naturally shredded coconut, and Gubba Gold is infused with real vanilla bean. Simply shake and enjoy. Visit gubbarum.com to find the nearest location to buy or enjoy. All establishments have personally reviewed and enjoyed firsthand the wicked smoothness of Gubba Rum. 35% ABV and 70 proof. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us, or two. Contact us at 866-224-5422, or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open.
Here at the Brooklyn Cafe, our subjects range from hot topics, feel-good stories, and back-in-the-day nostalgia. With guest personalities and business features, you just never know who you'll see on the show. With our brew crew on set, we always air live to inspire, educate, and create. Make it a date and have a day at the cafe. Join Dawn and Freddie every weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. and for lunch every weekday from 12 to 2. Amplify your voice. Call us at 866-224-5422 or visit our website at brooklyncafe.tv.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
I'm Heidi Wild, and the only moisturizer I use on my skin is Javon's Desired Radiance. Javon's quality starts with producing the goat milk of the blue herd. It could make your skin look and feel younger and more radiant, just like mine. And now, there's a Javon's Desired Radiance for men, too. Order now and find out for yourself at javon.com.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, Back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I just want you to know, you killed my whole show today.
I'm very afraid of this next segment, is all I can tell you.
You killed my whole show today.
It was very important information to get out.
It was, but I would like to get a memo once in a while to prepare me. I mean, you know, that wasn't easy.
I know.
That whole thing is not easy.
I know.
And I really would like you to memo me.
You need more than a memo, though. We actually need to have a conversation about
But
it.
then you add to the mix, you have Haley involved, you got Jordan involved. You
Listen, I don't plan the way things happen in this
Yeah, but it's
magical
very
world.
sensitive material.
But it happens the way it happens. I reached out to Tony, and I happened to walk into Studio A, and Haley was there, and I know Haley was friends with Gina, so I wanted to bring Haley on. Jordan and Ivy, I know I've got the angel buns. Jordan and Ivy happened to stay, and Jordan is going through some issues right now with the same type of mental health. She lost her aunt in a horrific biking accident on a Sunday morning, probably about 6 months ago, Ivy's sister, and what she's going through. So there's a lot of pain out there, and everyone's afraid to even address the elephant in the room because you think you're supposed to be strong and you're supposed to handle it, and on the outside everything looks great, and social media, everything's perfect, but in the inside, there's so much pain.
But how the hell are you supposed to handle anything? Are you kidding me?
So I've got some exciting news that we're going to be starting.
Okay.
That Haley is going to put together an additional segment of Inside Out with Haley to bring some of her friends forward to address some of these concerns and to give them a platform that their voices are heard, that middle ground is heard, and we can get that out there. We've got Thursday nights on WWNN while she's home for the summer to bring that forward.
That could be spectacular.
Yeah.
I remember when the incident occurred, we went on the air and the kids were calling. There was a walkout. Wasn't there a walkout like a day or 2 days later?
Yeah.
And the kids called us on the air. I'll never forget that. Remember? We said, okay, you got to go to class. No, we ain't going back in there.
So we've got more to do on that, but we're going to change gears. And you apparently have a...
I don't even know if I want to do
We're going to
this
post the
anymore.
information on Walk for Our Lives
Oh, I don't know if I wanna do
on
this
Saturday
anymore.
on March 11th from 9 to 12 at the Pine Trail Amphitheater. So if you don't want to do that, I'm afraid to do that. I do not have water with me.
I was going to do the hot chip challenge. Oh, no, I got to hold it this way. The hot chip challenge. To see who can eat 10 of these.
Bree really wants you to do this. She's like excited about this segment. So
I came just for this.
Did you?
I just came for this.
But now we have Paul in the audience. I think he's back there
and I think
somewhere.
did Zach leave?
Is Zach?
Okay, I was talking to Alana,
Oh,
okay.
that ain't fair. Zach gonna eat this whole bag.
I can eat the whole bag.
He likes, yeah, let's bring Zach out. And the challenge, I tried to find the jalapeno chip.
Ooh.
It said one chip for 20 bucks. Now it's 30 bucks because of inflation.
So tell me about this hot chip challenge.
Well, I was talking to Slick, and he says, these are called fuego. And I said, the hot chip challenge. Now, if you drink a glass of water with this, it's supposed to become volcanic. Is that true? Does anybody know if that's true?
You probably need milk.
No, milk soothes it.
Do you remember when we gave you the powdered sugar
I
at the
don't want
South
to talk
Florida
about
Fair?
that no more. That is something I cannot do heat.
I know.
But Slick says that he's mucho macho.
Slick can do it.
That's what he says.
Bree
He says,
can do it?
nice, damn
You
it.
gonna do this, Haley?
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it. I love me some
It's kind
tacos.
of early, but
All right, so we're going to pass out the chips. And let us see. Look at this one. This one.
She's gonna eat some plates. She's Bulldog. She's in the house.
Wow. Now, when you open this bag, smoke comes out of it.
I was wondering why the bag is still sealed.
You
It
can't
has
open
been
it.
sealed since yesterday.
He opened it at the store, and smoke came out. He says, make sure.
All right.
I'll let them do it. I don't even want to touch it. Here, come here. You're
I thought I
Are
was
you going to take
dramatic.
some?
It's good. It's really good.
All right, you gonna pass these out?
I wouldn't suggest you get water. Now, maybe they're not that hot. Who knows? They're not that. Oh, those are sticks.
These are sticks.
Yeah,
All right,
they're
we're
the
gonna
plate.
pass the plates over.
You can have as many as you want. Tell me, but you keep count of what you're eating.
All right.
Let me have one.
I don't know how many are we trying to
Well, the
eat?
winner
Don't
is
eat it.
supposed to be.
Don't eat it. Do not eat it.
Right?
And he listened.
It's burning my finger.
They're kind
Wow.
of like Fritos.
Is it hot?
Uh-huh.
Very hot?
Might be really hot for you. I like hot.
Well, here, eat this one.
All right, I'm on 2.
Want some more, Dom?
Are they hot? Hot?
No.
That's the hot.
Try them. Tell me what they taste like.
They taste like Fritos hot.
Give some to Crazy Horse over there.
I'll take much. Yeah, I'll give you some.
Are
All
they
right,
hot?
why am I the only one eating them?
You've had worse?
How many were you eating?
10 you're supposed to eat.
I'm on 3. You can't have these.
Well, I can't. I'm allergic.
4.
I'm allergic to pain.
I'm eating these by myself.
Yeah, I want to see when you start on the end. The hot chip challenge.
And what do we get if we finish?
Uh-huh. There's one. That's it. You gotcha.
I haven't had these in a good minute.
Look, I gotta. Gotta ring my bell.
All right, that's 4.
You're supposed to go at 10. Tell us when you hit 10. And you can't stop. You gotta keep eating.
Without drinking anything?
Without drinking anything. Yeah, wow.
How many you had, Zach? 2? 3.
Without drinking
talk
anything.
And eat it at the same time, though.
Yeah, you gotta keep. Don't stop. It's not a. Oh, that's gonna make it worse. That's
Thank
gonna, it says don't drink water.
You not drink water?
Go ahead, drink at the water. Drink at the water.
How many you had, Haley? Zach's at what, 4?
How is it? How's it going for you, Paul? You having any?
No, because I want to talk after.
There's no talking.
That's why I have. One of us has to be able to talk. How is it?
Nope,
No,
not for
no,
you.
no, no.
Good?
There you go.
How you doing? How many you have?
4.
Tell me how you feel.
Me?
Fine.
She's fine.
I don't think she has
How are
any
you doing?
taste buds left. She
I
like.
eat a lot of spices.
You do?
You're done?
Yeah, I eat a lot of
What are you,
spices.
That's
6?
still going.
5, 6? 6.
How's that going? How you doing, Amy?
I don't see any eyes tearing over here, so he's good.
You see the eyes
No,
tearing?
no, he hasn't yet.
I think he's had spicy food in the past, right?
Yeah, I've almost died before, so.
Wow. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get the one chip challenge, the one that.
Oh my god. I finished that.
Have you ever done that one?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was so bad. It was really bad for me.
That's the one I want to get.
I was
wanna see
like-
who can eat 2 of those bad boys?
No, it's really bad. Like it hurts your insides. It's really bad.
Have you gotten the queen of unhealthy food out here yet?
Who?
Alana?
Alana can't do this
Why?
Dorito?
because she's not capable of taking the heat.
Yeah.
She's capable.
She eats hot spicy food? No, she doesn't.
She's.
Alana, do you eat spicy food? She
All right.
can't eat that.
All right, we're at 10. Nothing
Okay,
too
how you
bad.
feel?
Pretty good.
How's your
Yeah.
mouth?
It's just got like a little spice to it, nothing too
Well,
crazy.
you didn't come in with that list when you walked in here.
What? People want you to try the chip.
No, Freddie not try the chip. Freddie, stay away from the chip.
Look at
The chip will kill you. Huh?
one.
If you don't swallow hard, it's better.
That has to be slick on the board because nobody's going to ask me to do. I did this one time, and we had a pool at the other studio.
Yes.
And I jumped in the pool because my face was exploding. Remember
But
that?
it's really good for clearing your sinuses. I like spicy. So
No, I didn't clear my sinuses.
You can't have
It
it.
melted my sinuses.
You guys are good? Nothing else going on with that?
That's good.
All right. So we
How many
gotta
you have?
up the heat then,
I'm
Freddie.
on 11, 12.
We just keep eating them.
No, I'm gonna get the single chip. I want to see you all down the bag of chips.
I'm okay. You can do
All
that by
right.
yourself.
All right. So we ready to switch gears on this one?
Yeah, because we're gonna switch gears.
Yep. So we have one of our producers, Miss Alana Shearer, who has been with us for about a year. She's going on to a very special competition. She has won Miss South Florida Fair back in October, and we are in full support of everything she has done in her platform and her initiative for TAPS, turning up artistic participation.
Yeah, you can.
Her show airs tonight at 7 o'clock, and then she's going on a 2-week hiatus because she is getting ready for the Miss Florida competition, where she's competing with about 30 other young women from our great state to hopefully win Miss Florida and then go on to the Miss America USA pageant.
So this one, you win Miss Florida,
And then you go on to
and
Miss
then you
America.
qualify. That qualifies you to go on to Miss America.
Correct. You know, every little girl's dream is to be Miss America and to be this close and to see how the platform has changed. And it's not about what you look like on the outside, it's your initiative, how you help others, your humanitarian acts, and of course your talent. Her talent is tap dancing.
So let's bring that over
So
there.
we're going to bring that over front and center.
Let's bring that over there so we can get a camera on it.
We definitely cannot say thank you enough for everything she has done. She came to us with an interview, and she came back for another one, and we quickly sucked her in, and she is by far one of the most amazing producers we have ever had at the studio. And as cavalier as we seem that today is on your last day for a little bit, it is not. So just know how much we love you and we appreciate you and wish you only the best of luck.
Oh, there's a crown on.
So, you know, nothing would be possible without giving you some extra sustenance along your way.
Well, thank you. And I hate that you guys keep prolonging this as like a last day because it's not a last day.
You're on hiatus for a couple weeks.
A hiatus. I'll be back. But I thank Freddie and Dawn and the Brooklyn crew and everyone within AMP Studios for being full support of this journey and being here for me and being adaptable with my flexible schedule, especially over the past couple of weeks. It's been really crazy busy, but exciting at the same time. And I'm hoping I can make everyone proud.
Well, you
We're on the
already make
countdown.
everyone proud. So what is it going to look like? What's the competition that you're walking into?
Well, the Miss Florida competition takes place in Lakeland, Florida. It is a week-long competition with girls from all over the state coming together to compete for the job. I check in 10 days, and we have everything from rehearsals and luncheons to preliminary competition events. I have a private interview for 10 minutes, press conference style, with some judges that go over your resume, your business plan, what you would do with your year of service and traveling the state and working with different brands and partnerships, as well as the competition at night on stage, which is fun for people to watch. It includes on-stage interview question, a social initiative pitch. You also perform a talent of 90 seconds, as well as the traditional red carpet wear as well, to keep a little bit of the history and tradition within the Miss America organization that's going into its second century now.
And everyone asks what your talent is.
So my talent is tap. I've been a dancer for over 20 years. It's what I've grown up loving to do and competing in South Florida. And I bring tap to the stage in two ways, both as my talent and as my social initiative as Turn Up Artistic Participation.
You have a new routine you're doing.
I have a new routine. So you'll have to stay tuned or check out when the live stream link is sent out for everybody. But I am bringing something new this year. This will be my third time competing at Miss Florida. I'm getting a little old. We're getting there to the limits, but I am bringing a new piece this year. I'm really excited. Talent is by far my favorite portion of competition. I'm a bit competitive because it's what I've grown up doing, but I'm excited for every aspect of competition this year.
And this is in Lakeland, right?
Yes, it is in Lakeland, Florida. The Miss Florida organization is partnered with Visit Central Florida. It happens at the RP Funding Center, which is a large facility there, and it helps bring in tourism to the area.
And there's tickets available if you want to go see it live?
Yes, tickets are available. They are open, so if you are interested, you could either go to the Miss Florida organization website, check out our social media on Facebook or Instagram, or you can go directly to the RP Funding Center website to look for tickets and contact the box office through there. But stay tuned, there will be a live stream that should be coming out within the next week or two as well.
And what is the date of the event?
So competition is going to be, I check in on Monday the 20th. Our preliminaries that week will be on Wednesday and Thursday. And the big day of finals, where the top 10 or 12 girls will recompete, will be on Saturday, June 25th is the big final
That's
day.
when we have to get tickets for the 25th.
The 25th. But this whole organization is more than tap, it's more than talent, it's more than running for Miss Florida and Miss America. This has given you a huge amount of revenue to help you with your education.
Yeah, so far, even though I have not yet won the Miss Florida crown and the job title itself, I've earned over $12,000 in scholarship. I tell people all the time that I started this organization for scholarship and I stayed for service. And I did not grow up doing this. I only became involved when I was starting my master's program at FSU. I was looking for a way to pay for it as my brother was starting college, and finance
was a little difficult at the time, and 3 years later, $12,000 later, I'm hopeful that this year at Miss Florida, I can say that my student loans and my master's degree will be completely paid off from participating in this program. And besides the scholarship and the financial support this program offers, it's tremendously helped with my communications, public speaking, talking to businesses, adults, networking across the state. My eyes have been completely open to this kind of an organization. I never thought I would be a quote-unquote pageant girl, but at the same time, it's really been stripped away from the physical appearance, and it's really taken seriously as a competition and a complete job of traveling the state, being a spokesperson, and empowering other young women to be role models and leaders in their community.
Well, congratulations. And inside that bag, we decided we'd have to send you away with some sustenance.
Oh boy, I hear Slick making comments. I'm scared to look in here.
Some of your favorites. So just so you know, Slick did all of the sustenance shopping for you.
Oh my goodness. Well,
because Alana is on a limited diet of
they're gonna crack
cereal
up
bars.
Here. You're gonna laugh, but when it comes to competition week, we do scramble around, and it's happy. All the girls are super sweet and super nice. That is truly honest. But it is a stressful week, and we're all under so much pressure. Everyone's trying to be on their A game that you sometimes forget to eat, or you're so stressed that you don't. So of course I can tell Slick must have been a part of this because it is filled with cereal bars and easy mac and cheese. But it will definitely come in handy, and I will share with my roommate at Miss Florida week. Oh my gosh, that's very silly. I know that was Slick. I'll get you back. Don't worry.
All right,
but thank you guys.
Thank you so much. We're so proud of you. We can't wait to see the live stream link. We are not live streaming. We are going to enjoy watching the whole competition. And from all of us, we send you and your family so much love. As they say, break a leg.
Thank you, thank you. And for anyone who is looking in our program book at Miss Florida, the Brooklyn Cafe and Amp Media Studios were a proud sponsor of me this year, and I'm thankful for their half-page ad that they've included in there, and by far, between the radio show, between working here, networking, it's been an honor to be a part of the cafe family, and I'm excited to represent us over in Lakeland in a few short days.
Awesome. All right, more to come. They're going to have some cake, and we're going to get ready for our 1 o'clock hour with Paul Solomon and Lou, who's senior advisors. I think Zach is in the house. We're going to see how everyone is with that. The chips? Maybe you could have one.
No, I don't want it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, flip over to some music for your enjoyment, and we will be right back.
See, this is what happens when I'm not running board.
All right, let's take a commercial break, guys.
Breathing through my troubles, trying to be smart, living with another, passion in my heart, partners come and go, always with a twirl.
Providing music you will enjoy. JM Production Performers will brighten up your stage. Condominiums and residential communities, nightclubs and restaurants that want to provide top quality singers and entertainers for their social events, banquets, celebrations, and their customers use JM Productions to ensure that they have an uplifting and beautiful event. Now, tune in for the show.
Amy Reshevsky can help you choose the right piece that will add some magic to your space. Amy Reshevsky has a wide range of art, from abstracts to mosaic tapestries, and she paints on different surfaces, such as reverse painting on glass, tables, wall hangings, and sculptures. Her work can be ordered online at amyreshevsky.com, or you can come in and see it in real time at the Brooklyn Cafe Art Gallery. She also does commission work, so if you have an idea in mind, she can make it a reality. She invites you to reach out to her at Facebook or at email at amyreshevsky@gmail.com. That's amyreshevsky@gmail.com. Have an artful day.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art.
For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Cool, calm, collected. Needing a drink to end a long day, or maybe to start your vacation right? Gubba Rum is here to let you kick back and do just that. Inspired by a technique that dates back to the 1800s, these artisanal, organic, and naturally infused rums are made from pure cane and the finest fruits, spices, and herbs the world has to offer. Gubba Silver is infused with naturally shredded coconut, and Gubba Gold is infused with real vanilla bean. Simply shake and enjoy. Visit gubbarum.com to find the nearest location to buy or enjoy. All establishments have personally reviewed and enjoyed firsthand the wicked smoothness of Gubba Rum. 35% ABV and 70 proof. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
How you doing over there?
I'm doing good.
It's been an hour, right?
I tell you, you just keep piling it on.
I exhaust myself is what I do.
It's sad to see, I mean, it's great, and I'm very happy for her. But it's sad to see Alana moving on. It's like, you know, your son or your daughter gets married, and you're in the crowd sitting there, and you're like, yes, I got that room now to make it a studio, and then you go home and just look around and say, wow, they're no longer here.
You know that longest river in the world? Denial?
Yeah.
That's where I am with this. So I'm good with doing what I say and how much we love her. But the fact that today is her hiatus, I'm going to pretend it's not because we have a long day ahead of us, because otherwise I'll just cry.
Well, I think it hits home when you realize that she's won and all of a sudden things change. But you know what? You got to wish her the
hard.
best. Yes. She's
worked
very
hard,
deserving.
and her initiative, and to see her in competition that we got to see at the South Florida Fair was unbelievable. To see a whole nother side of who she is, but she makes everyone here better. She inspires, she teaches, she creates, and she just raises the bar. So everyone else who now comes in afterwards, all I say is, I feel sorry for you.
And it's funny because when we first met her, she didn't do any of those things, remember? Right. She says, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this. And now she's teaching all the things she didn't do.
So a lot of great things, but she's on set tonight at 7 o'clock. I don't know who she's interviewing, but we will find out what her show is about.
Now, I also wanted to mention real quick before we get to Paul is that the cartoon character you see behind us, we are actually going to start this Saturday. I know I said it last Saturday, but this Saturday starting at 8 o'clock,
yep,
we are going to put the Kids Television Network together. And we're going to be doing cartoons.
Oh, it's just her tonight. Tap Recap.
Oh, that should be interesting. And we're going to be putting Tap Recap on the Kids Network as well, right?
Yep.
So we got all sorts of shows. We got cartoons, we got shows. I just heard that The Munsters is being brought back in color.
Wow.
I'm a big Monsters fan. It's unbelievable. So we're going to be doing that this Saturday. It starts at 8 o'clock. So if you want to see cartoons, tune in to the Kids Television Network. Is that what it is on Facebook?
Absolutely.
And check that out. But this is one of our artists, in-house artists, Bailey. And they're doing all sorts of comic strips, and they're getting into that whole digital stuff coming out. We've put challenges out there to see.
We're going to have a new animation ready by tomorrow that Kira's working on.
I know, and that's going to be a monster. Monster. Now, I want to know if they are streaming the pageant thing. That's on a Saturday, right? I think we open up that Saturday, and we entertain and bring friends like Paul and everything else, and we show it. We highlight the stream somehow so people can see it.
Interesting.
I spoke to Gio. He says, of course it's very doable. Right through the encoder, you can actually, all the TVs, so we can watch it. So I'm thinking some
put
ideas.
together.
Yeah.
Interesting. We've got Paul Solomon joining us on this hour from Luhu Advisors. But before we get into this, we have a new show called The Spiritual Mystic Alchemist with Rose Lambert. And Rose is just amazing. When I actually Googled Rose yesterday, I got another woman who was a spiritual alchemist from the Ottoman Empire, which was fascinating. And I showed it to her. I said, are you related? She looked at me like I was crazy, right? She said, I don't know what you're talking about. So somehow, somewhere, this whole transcendence is now on our current Rose Lambert. And so Paul texted me. I've watched the show. My wife and I are watching it, and he's so intrigued. So I have to ask you, because when he started working with, he said he just had a feeling about working with us. And we never dabbled into that conversation. I never even ventured there. But it seems Paul's got a little bit of intuitiveness about him.
Has a little secret agenda.
A little bit of a secret hidden energy agenda. So I want to touch on that as well. So welcome back. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to be back here. You guys make me laugh, and you walk in here, and it's just whatever's going on outside, it doesn't matter. It's what's going on in here. So thanks.
You never know what's going on here.
No.
All right, so tell us about this whole energy, healing, intuitive side of you.
Well, it's crazy because we talked about if we brought this up a couple of years ago, I would have been the last guy you would have thought really was involved with this. But a year ago, January, my wife and Zach, who you saw before, we went to go see Dr. Joe Dispenza out in Marco Island. And there was about, 1,400 other people there. And it's about meditating. It's about understanding your body, your DNA. It's just a lot. Everybody said, oh, you're going out to go meditate, figuring we're going to go sit on the beach, have our legs crossed and just sit there and just nothing. But it was a lot more in understanding how incredible our bodies are and how we can heal ourselves, and just how energy really is what our bodies are really made out of. And as the joke goes, we're in a meat suit. That's our body. And it's really our energy is what's really controlling everything. And I really didn't understand it. And then I look back when my dad passed away. And my dad was, it was 2019 in October, and he's alive, right? Like a lot of people are, and he was dying, and we knew he only had moments to go. And then 1 second he's alive, and the next second he's gone. And it's like a switch just flipped. He was still there, his body, right? But his energy was completely gone. And then when we were going through this exercise in the beginning of last year, it made me really think about life, your body, and your mind, and how energy really does control us one way or another. And when I walk into a room sometimes, I know how the energy is. If I walk up to somebody, whether I really want to talk to them or not, or that first conversation, that first sentence with somebody, I'll know if it's going to be good or not.
You just have an innate sense.
Yeah, and it's funny because I thought my wife really even had it more than me, and she has it too, but I'm a lot more sensitive to energy than she is. So it's pretty wild. And Zach, like you were talking previously in the last half hour, all the trauma that Zach went through, we were at the Parkland shooting, he was in the high school at that time, and how meditation has helped him get through this period. Still meditates today, and like people that meditate, some days you have good meditation, some days you don't, but you just got to keep just meditating.
You meditate every day?
Every day in the morning.
Did you always, or last January you started?
Last January, well, I did it a little bit before just to prepare myself, because it's like going to a boot camp when you go see Dr. Joe. It's 5 or 6 days, hours at a time. And then the last couple days, you're meditating for 4 hours straight.
Wow.
You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're meditating from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And you think, 4 hours, how can I do that? But the 4 hours went by like it was nothing. It really was incredible. And I think it's changed my life a lot, just stress. I mean, stress, everybody has it. My 93-year-old mother, life, kids, everything else you go through. And if there's one way to like calm yourself, meditation has completely changed my life by just calming me down. Where do I get excited? Do things bother me? Absolutely. But even if I get to that point and I go and sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's not even a guided meditation, just sit in quietness, turn the phone off, and just stare into space. It's unbelievable what it can do for you.
You know, it's funny you say that. When I was a kid, my mother used to talk to me about frequency, which is what you're experiencing.
Yep.
And she used to tell me, when you walk into certain rooms, if the frequency is down, you're going to feel it. So she used to say, Freddie, it's your job to make sure that you turn the volume up so that everybody can benefit from it.
Right.
I never understood what the hell she was talking about. But I always saw that in my house, there was a party from Friday to Sunday.
Right.
That I was growing up. And there was music, and there was food, and there was laughter. And they did it. As long as I can remember, they did it every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's interesting because that has now followed my life. About when you come in here, I do a lot of lights. I do a lot of music. And sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy. I really don't care. But you can see that it affects everybody positively away from what's going on out there. But the thing here is that you take it with you. So all of a sudden, things that you do in your life, you do them better. You do them clearer. And I had this conversation with Rosie yesterday, and her jaw fell down because I told her what she sees, and she was telling me, and I told her what I see, and she said, wow, you do get it. It's amazing. It's amazing sometimes that it's so simple to get, and sometimes you get what isn't working as well.
Right.
You know, and you don't know how to express that ain't working, we got to change it. It's an amazing fact. And it doesn't surprise me that Paul gets it, because the limited time that I see Paul, his energy is always here. And you can always see it on him. You can sense it. You can feel it. Your son is the same way.
Yeah, Zach has it. I mean, Zach is, if you want to talk about a light worker or somebody that knows what's going on, I mean, Zach is the real deal. And it's just an amazing, because we have another son who's total opposite. Mr. New York City, Mr. Financial District, Mr. whatever, but he's actually turning because he's moving from New York to Denver because he's done with New York and the fast lane and the whole scene with the financial world where he wants to change. And we're not saying he's coming over to our side, but he's definitely understanding that quality of life is better than a lot of things that people, I don't say take for granted, but you know, we're here in Boca Raton and everybody here, the flash and dash and everything else, if everybody just took a step back and just calmed down a little bit, the world would be a different place. Boca Raton would be a different place. Florida would be a different place.
Look at the bigger picture. So in our last hour, you don't know, we had Tony Maltado was on during a virtual call with us.
Okay.
And then we brought Haley in, and I think we've got a few of them that are going to the March for Our Lives on Saturday. And Zach was at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas during the shooting also.
Of course he was. He fits right in.
I
didn't know
told you,
any of
I
this
did
was
not
going
put
on
any,
today.
and I didn't know
None of
Zach
it.
was
It's crazy.
coming.
Now, we had Tony on the air with us back in the day
Been
when
a while.
all that stuff has been a while, and he's much well versed now in showing both sides. He was emotional. He lost his daughter. His plan that he wants to put forward, he says, it may work in Florida, it may not work up north.
Right.
I think his plan will work wherever with adjustments. I don't see a problem with it. And what I loved about his delivery is that I got to feel a different Tony. I got to feel, you know, this is all about delivery. You want to send a message without feeling like you're hitting somebody over the head and trying to beat them up with language. You don't want to do that.
Right.
You want to feel what they feel, and you want to give and take to continue the conversation. Today, I was glued to what he was saying. so much cleaner, so much refinement. He had everybody in here going. I said, well, I thought it was a great morning that you put together.
You know, it's something when the voices tell you to make that phone call, to reach out to somebody, and you think, oh, it's late. When I have these things in my head, I knew I had to call him, and then it was late last night. And I wanted to call at 6 o'clock this morning, so you wait until you can actually text someone. And then I thought the worst that happens is he says no, but he's just always been so amazing and supportive. We've always tried to give him the platform that we can, and he said, yeah, I'll do a virtual interview. I've got a call with some important people at 12:30, and clear as a bell, he was on at 12 o'clock.
It was on point. On point. Good stuff.
But you feel the energy of what it is. So Rose's message is all run by spirit.
Yeah.
And so she sits here and she's very calm. And some people who tune in, you have to really understand that this is all spirit coming through her, because when you talk to her, she's very animated. But on her show, she's not, because she says it takes a long time for the spirit to come through, so they talk to her slowly. But you just got to hear the messages.
Yeah, I mean, I've had multiple readings from mediums and things like that. And again, some people like, oh yeah, you know, they're generalizing everything. But I had one after my dad passed away, and I was wearing his ring, and he came through, and he said something about, or the person that he was going through was saying something about jewelry, and I was wearing my ring. And then my dad, he said, is there a light out? And there was a light that's been flickering in our apartment forever. And that was kind of a sign. And again, energy with lights and things like that. So you just have to look for the signs. And if you believe in it, you believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, certain things aren't going to come through or kind of work. And we always say that there's no coincidence. Like as you were saying about making a phone call or not. And how many times you say, oh, I was just about to call you and the phone rings.
Yep.
That's not a coincidence. That was supposed to happen. That was within our energy field.
Right. The reason that you're all here and you bring Zach, and you never bring Zach.
Right.
Right. And he just happens to be here on today also. There's a reason that it all comes together.
Yep.
And we've learned that we just have to go with that flow of what's supposed to be, and you can't fight it. You just have to let it play out the way it's supposed to.
And you don't always have to understand it either. There was a gentleman by the name of Ambrose. I think I told you this story. And he was a medium, but I've never seen this kind of power. This guy his eyes were very open like this, but this guy could see unbelievable. So I asked him to read me. I says, can you tell me something about me? He looked at me, he says, let's go to your mother's house. Okay, so we go to my mother's house. I go in there, Mom, Ambrose, yeah, she knew him. He says, Mom, I want you to sit down. I want to make you a glass of tea. And he made her tea. How do you want it? Lemon? Okay. And my mother was like, what's wrong with Ambrose today? I want to just ask you a couple of questions. My mother had a daughter, a baby, that she lost before me. And he asked her about that. Now, my mother never told my father. She never told nobody. So my mother gets up, she runs into the bathroom, and my sister comes over, she's knocking at the door and says, Mom, just relax. He's not accusing you of killing the baby. Well, what happened? So she explained what happened. And nobody had ever heard the story about how she aborted this baby. And he says, I want you to meet your daughter. And he told her about this blonde little blue-eyed girl. And he told her, you don't have to worry about her because your son, which was me, who was thought of 3 years later, is her spirit guide. She's in him. Now, I can't tell these stories to people without people looking at me like I'm nuts, right?
Right.
So when I meet Rose, I meet you, I meet her, I meet different people in my life to explain this story. There's so many flashbacks that I can tell you about this little girl that I see all the time. I didn't know, never knew. Right. And he explained it. Ambrose was one of the best I've ever. He was a spirit, always dressed in white, always spiritual. It was unbelievable. But all the things that led up to that story, the tea and everything else, he explained it to me and the reasons why. Unbelievable. Sometimes you can't ask why. You just got to see that it is until you catch up at the end.
Just got to accept it.
That's what it is.
You've got some new things happening, so we'll see if those come to fruition. We'll get to talk about them, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot going on besides my financial, long-term care, Medicaid world. There's a lot of other stuff going on, so it's all good.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into the financial senior placement, senior advising side of LUHU Senior Advisors. We got a little personal recap on Paul Solomon, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Creative, enchanting, whimsical. Artist Gina Bella is always creating artwork based on real stories and emotions, expressed through Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clay. Her feelings and stories come to life. Complete with glittery diamond dust over paintings and pottery, Gina Bella is always creating new pieces and commissions. You can find her work in staging homes, family Christian bookstores, New Jersey boutiques, and the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery, where she offers personal guided tours of her latest art pieces. Gina can also be found hosting weekend art camps, where she teaches adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. For more information on Gina Bella and her art, contact livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or give a call to 954-857-5444. We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Brooklyn Cafe TV show. Whether you enjoy watching in the mornings or afternoons, you can now watch with your favorite merchandise. Choose from the Brooklyn Cafe t-shirts, ranging from sizes small to 3XL. Colors available include black, dark heather, and navy. Feeling chilly? Just check out our latest hoodie with over 9 colors to choose from. Sip on some Brooklyn Cafe coffee with Dawn and Freddie in a matching mug as seen on set. Brooklyn hats and special seasonal items are always popping up and available upon request. To purchase, you can visit our online store at brooklyncafe.tv/shop. Happy shopping! Are you ready to relax and unwind? Come visit the Spa Facial on Ocean Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale Beach. We offer facial therapy, body treatments, waxing, men's spa treatments, and so much more. Our spa services are a great way to take a step back from the bustle of everyday life. Come take a break with us. We guarantee our all-natural products will bring you to pure tranquility. Call us today at 954-213-5034 or visit our website, thespafacial.info.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. I am so glad today we got an early start. Where are we headed anyway?
Who knows? Wherever this glorious day takes us, and we'll take Don Pablo along too. Rich and flavorful with low acidity and notes of caramel. No matter where you're going or where you end up, Don Pablo never disappoints.
Excuse me, is that Don Pablo coffee?
Sure is.
Do you have any more?
Sure do. Then hop in.
No matter where life takes you, Don Pablo Coffee is always there to pick you up.
Coffee News is a fun, family-friendly weekly publication provided free to restaurants, coffee shops, and waiting areas for customers to enjoy. Grow your business today through the power of effective, affordable advertising. Coffee News is an active marketing medium specializing in the ongoing weekly promotion of your business. This builds awareness for your company so you become known as the leader of your industry and develop brand awareness so people think of you first when they want your services or products. Maximize your visibility and achieve outstanding results. For more information on Coffee News, contact Sunrise Coffee News at mail.com or give them a call at 954-951-7870.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we are back at the Brooklyn Cafe. I would love to say that my partner's here, but he decided to do the hot chip challenge. So apparently he is saving his mouth in the back. Yes. Yes? What is he drinking, Slick? Water. I warned him not to do it, and he had one, and we don't hear him. But we've got Paul Solomon of Luhu Senior Advisors joining us and his son, Zach. So we're going to see what's going on in the world coming up. You're getting coffee.
I took one of those chips and killed me.
I know. See what's going in the world of Luhu. Let us help you. I got a whole fresh perspective on you, which I like a whole lot. It's always interesting to learn more about the people that we work with. It makes us understand kind of the ins and outs of what's going on.
It's true. I mean, you just, again, I come in here, bop in for an hour, bop out, and we never really have the downtime, or you never really have the downtime. I do. So it's interesting, and as the more, even as a listener, as opposed to being a participant, the different people you have on, it really is interesting because you cover a lot of different things. And like I said to you, I'm like, do people are really interested? I mean, I know I am, but of other people? And you said, yeah, the viewership was great. So.
Rose's show is a show. Rose just happened to appear from the heavens. She was an angel that was just brought here on a Monday 2 weeks ago. And we talked about some options, and she said, I need more. I have a message that I have to get out. And they have all found her. And after one show, she's got a tremendous following. So the light workers, those that hear the messages and read the messages, are in tune with finding like-minded people. So it's remarkable to see the growth and where it is going. And she is actually going to be starting her own Roku channel to get her message out even bigger, to bigger platform worldwide, to Turkey, and giving you some time to catch up every which way, which is interesting. And then we had Alita on yesterday, and she told me you were her guest on Tuesday, and I laughed, and I said, you can't squeeze, what do you always say, a square peg in a round hole? Right. You can't put Paul in a 30-minute slot. We got to figure out something else. So I'm glad that you're going to be doing radio on Monday with her.
Yeah, Monday, then doing the show on Tuesday.
So I thought it would be a nice way to spread the message and give you some more time to prep it, because you have so much information. There's no way to put it in 30 minutes.
And it's hard. I mean, that's why when I speak to people on the phone, they're like, how long are we going to talk? I said, really, it's up to you. I could talk forever, but try and make it for like a half hour to an hour. And the questioning really just goes on and on for that hour. And then I kind of leave it up to the people. I say, listen, we spoke for an hour. I think I can do what I can do for you or help you or give you some ideas at least. Please fill out this intake form that I'm going to send to you. And that's kind of my test to people to see if they really want to go forward or not. Some people, I don't know what the hang-up is. I think it comes down to a lot of things. One, they're so stressed out dealing with their parents. They don't know what to do. And two, they're working themselves. And three, they might have young kids or kids they're taking care of. And then it's the financial side of they're just so twisted. They don't know what mom or dad has and where to start with. So the first conversation is usually a good one. And sometimes I said, I hope I didn't confuse you even more. But I think I could be an asset and part of your team, of which I have a team, to help you get through this times that I personally went through that I understand. So some people do right away. They send back my form that I have. Other people, it takes a week or two. And it all depends. And some people I never hear back from, and I don't really know why. But maybe it's the health of their loved one, that it's worse than they think it is. And that's something that I can kind of describe to them, depending if it's dementia, Parkinson's or something. I can kind of describe, because I personally went through that with my family, that I could explain to them what they're coming up against. Oh, did you get there yet? Like, this is next, because people just don't know what's coming. And sometimes it could take years for things to get through.
How do you start the conversation?
How can I help you? I mean, usually it's a referral from somebody. And they're calling me. They don't know maybe exactly what I do, but usually, and it's kind of funny, they say, oh, you got to talk to Paul. And it can go in 22 different directions. I don't really know. Again, I don't usually, when a referral comes to me, I don't really know why they're calling me, except they tell me who it's from. I have an idea. So if it's a home care agency, if it's you guys, just because you know what I do, it could be from anybody and everybody. So I have a sense, okay, what are you calling me about? It has to do with either finances, has to do with a house maybe, has to do with long-term care, Medicaid, VA benefits. It kind of can touch anything. That's why I'm proud to be a certified senior advisor, because I can touch everything. I'm educated a little bit on some subjects and a lot on other subjects.
And you really need an important team, because I'm in the middle of working on something with my daughter, and as much as I know, I don't know. Right? So I'm consistently asking questions to the point, I feel like I'm annoying. You've been part of this whole process. But to have someone like you to say, all right, help me navigate this. You need this quarterback, because in between working, I'm reading emails.
Right.
and you're trying to answer it and trying to figure it all out, but to have a quarterback to say, all right, we need to put this in place, and then we need to go here, and we need to look at your finances, we need to look to your kids, or maybe you need estate planning. All of that, you need someone.
Yeah, and like my appointment tomorrow, I'm going to a bank with a son who he's been diagnosed terminally ill with cancer, has 2 years or less. This is the son. He's got a 90-year-old father. So he came to me trying to do Medicaid and VA planning for the father, and I said, okay, where are you putting him? We found a place. I helped him find a place. What are you doing with the condo? I need to sell it. We were under contract with the condo. And I said, all right, what are you going to do after you pass away about the bills of your dad? Because your dad might outlive you. You just don't know. And he said, that's a great question. So tomorrow we're going to the bank, and we're going to try and figure out how to set up automatic payments for the assisted living and other payments that he might have to make so that it will live beyond him. Typical, he has family members that don't want to help. But I said, you know, we might have to get him involved or let the bank know at least who to contact after. So that's part of my services is helping him understand what he's going through. I mean, this is kind of the worst situation because you know that the son's not going to outlive his father. But here I come saying, listen, I'll do whatever it takes because he only has so much time left.
Well, in a case like that and the family members don't want to help, does it go into a guardianship type of idea?
It could. I mean, that's, again, not having your legal documents set up is one of the issues that I talk about to everybody right away. Do you have a power of attorney? Do you have a healthcare directive? To me, even though I don't do that and the attorney does that, that's as important to me as doing the planning because I know what's coming. And a lot of people, you know, head in the sand, blinders on, life's in the way. They don't understand the important documents. And it's always, to me, I said, when were they done last? And they said, oh, a couple years ago. Like this lady said to me the other day, I looked at her documents, they were done 16 years ago. That's old. And especially on these documents, if you don't have a successor to the power of attorney, what happens if that person dies? So like this person I'm working with tomorrow, the son was the only power of attorney that the father gave the power of attorney to, and there was no one after him. I said, well, you know that you're terminal, you know you have issues, we have to redo the documents. So we went, one of the elder law attorneys I deal with, we went to them, they redid the documents. That was first. Before he paid me a dime, I made sure that the attorney took care of his documents. So now we can go further. So now we can get into the father's insurance policies and bank accounts and things like that, and we wouldn't have any issues. So guardianship's last resort, just because now the court system's involved, the county, the state's involved, and you don't want that because now now there's rules that you have to follow. So the power of attorney can stop that. If you have a power of attorney, you don't need that guardianship.
So he needs to place another power of attorney.
It's
Correct.
funny. You came up in conversation in my head the other day. Something occurred in my life where you try to make a game plan, but you're not in control of the final result. Something else is. You can't make a game plan on something you don't control. And I remember talking to you a few times about calling an audible and changing it, because when you do a plan like that and it frustrates you, you get to a point where it begins to wear you down. And once it wears you down, mentally you're not able to think out of the box. Once that happened, game over.
Right.
So I called an audible. I said, you know what? If this happens, God bless, I'm very happy. You can't control that. That has something else controlling. Let's do what we can control. Let's work on staying healthy. Let's work on calling an audible. Let's try something else. And I got this because I remember talking to you about it isn't about doing things one way. Sometimes you have to recreate the wheel to get to the other side. It doesn't mean that you're saying no to other people's ideas, but it's really about what you can and cannot control. Like you're taking this guy to the bank, that's something that he can control. Power of attorneys, those are things that you can control. I was always assuming that I was going to be buried somewhere. And I wasn't in control of that anymore. They were going to, what is that?
Cremate you?
Cremate me. And I said, you know what? That ain't happening. That's not the faith that I was brought up in. And Dawn is the one that says, well, then you have to make these things happen, work on the things you can control.
Right.
This is what I love about your approach, because you emphasize that you can control. You make the changes that make sense. And I think that when people tell you no, they're so overwhelmed by seeing how much they're in the deep end of the pool and they ain't done nothing in 16 years. And they're saying, wow, this is unbelievable. And they have to sort of take you and say, you know what, I trust because you showed me my mistake. I have to say I've been doing it wrong. Let's work with Paul. And that's a big leap, man, that you get that done.
Yeah, and again, there's people out there that are proactive and there's people out there that are reactive. And unfortunately, we all know most people are reactive. They wait for something to happen and then they try and solve that problem. Sometimes they can fix it, sometimes you can't fix it. And I say it's the same thing when you go to either a doctor or you go to an attorney. You're going there for a reason. And my experience in my life, you go to the doctor, you're going there for a reason, but most doctors then don't try and look at the whole picture. They're going there to fix that problem, put that Band-Aid on, whatever. Same thing most of the time when you go to an attorney. You're going there for a problem, and very rarely have I experienced attorneys say, you know what, let's take a step back. Let's look at the whole picture. No, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to get paid, and out the door you go. So I kind of pride myself when I speak to a family, and they're like, well, why are we talking about the house? We're talking about this. I said, no, because that house can cost you a lot of money if so-and-so dies, where if you have to go through probate, why don't we try and protect that now, which we can do?
That's right.
And they're like, well, I never thought of that. You know, even like a reverse mortgage. How many times I hear in a day how bad they are? And I'm like, you're wrong. You're wrong. You really have to understand how to use them.
I want to ask you about that. I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did.
Yes.
Reverse mortgage, you have to be 65?
62.
62. Do you have to own your house outright?
No, primary residence.
Okay.
So it can't be a second home. You can have a mortgage on it. So depending upon the value of the house and depending upon how big the mortgage is, that's how much you can get through your reverse mortgage or not. For an example, if you have a house of $600,000, depending upon what your mortgage is, and let's say it's $200,000, they'll pay off your $200,000, and usually it's 50% of the value you can get out of a reverse mortgage. So in this case, they would give you access to $100,000. They'll pay off your $2,000 and give you access. They'll either give it to you in a lump sum over 2 years, or you can take it out as an income stream for a certain amount of time or for life or whatever it might be.
So theoretically, you could invest that $100,000.
Well, what I like to tell people to do, if you're going to do that, is take the money out and why don't you then put it into something else, whether a long-term care policy or something like that, or I want to say an investment, and people don't equate life insurance, long-term care as an investment, but it can be.
Sure.
People understand that. So there's different things when I go in there and they're like, no, I need it for this, I need it for a roof. Great, roof's priority, you know. But if there's certain things that we can do, maybe you can turn that money on so that we can get other benefits out of it, because otherwise the money's sitting in the house.
Now, that only goes to $1 million, right? It doesn't go above that. So the house
It's
is
$1
worth
million,
$2 million?
yeah, it just hit $1 million this year.
So if the house is worth $2 million, you can only borrow the 100, which is half is 500 minus your debt.
Right. I mean, really, it's about 500. I mean, again, you're going up to $1 million, then you can get
Minus the
500
debt.
out of it, and depending upon if there's a mortgage on it. And then people don't realize you can buy a house with a reverse mortgage.
I was going to ask you that.
Right. So that's, again, you're buying $1 million house, and you say, you know what, I'm going to pay cash for it, I don't want a mortgage. Well, why don't you put 500 down, and then take a reverse mortgage out for the 500.
Wow.
Keep your 500 with your financial advisor, do whatever you want to do with it, let that grow, your house will grow, and yes, you will be paying interest, but it's on the backside. So it's accumulating on the backside, so hopefully the appreciation of your house and the cost of the mortgage over the years will be equal.
Interesting.
Now, if you wanted to buy it back, in other words, you do the deal, you get 5 minus 2,
Right.
gives you 3 in cash, right?
Right.
And let's say that 2 years down the line, you hit lotto, I don't know, and you want to pay back the 5, or what is
The
it?
2.
The 2.
Yep.
Can you do that?
Yeah, there's no prepayment penalty, you can pay it down.
At any age?
Any age. Yeah, you can pay it off.
You understand that?
100%.
That is the most powerful tool if you're in the soup to get out of, because it's not ending the relationship in the house.
Or you sell the house, the reverse mortgage is paid off. What about the cash that you got out of it?
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, and if I do a reverse mortgage, the bank's going to take it. No, the bank doesn't take it. Whatever equity is left, the family gets. So whether it's the person that sells it, the older person, or the family, if that person passed away, then their heirs can get the balance, whatever's left.
Now, she just brought up a good point. I took 5, I paid back 2, so I'm on 3.
Right.
I get a buyer that gives me 2.2. Am I allowed to sell the house even though I did the reverse?
Yeah, you can sell the house at any time.
So if I sell the house at its worth and take out the money I borrowed, then the house, the sale, the proceeds belong to me?
Sure.
The reverse mortgage gets paid off.
Yeah, they're
and
not a
then the
partner.
difference is yours.
They're
You
just
know,
like a regular mortgage.
You're like the best kept secret in Florida. I mean, are you serious? Is this real?
This is real.
So everybody who's underwater that has value and equity,
Over the
assuming,
age of 62.
which is 90% of Florida.
Right.
Hello. Am I lying? So anybody who's underwater because of COVID, they lost their jobs, they're not the Walmart greeter, all of that stuff going on right now, which I'm just talking the truth. If they do this, it gives them a window. They sell the house in the hottest market in the century, and they can still keep the proceeds after they take. This is like found money.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a real live example. I'll talk about my in-laws. They were waiting for the house to appreciate to get to a certain point. They had a mortgage on their house, but the value of that house wasn't that 50%, 50% more. So we were waiting for the market to catch up. Sure enough, over the last year, the market caught up. Now what's happening is the house was appraised for twice as much as their mortgage. It's going to pay off their mortgage payment, all right? So now they'll have the reverse mortgage, but their mortgage goes away, of which is going to save them about $1,900 to $2,000 a month. No mortgage payment, real estate taxes they have to pay, insurance they have to pay, and all their other expenses. But I just saved them $1,900 to $2,000 by explaining to them how good this reverse mortgage is. They could pull money out depending upon how much more than the house appraises. So if the house appraised more than that 50%, they could pull out some money. They should be able to get out maybe 20 grand, 30 grand.
But check this out.
At the very least, they've got no mortgage now, and they now have an extra $1,900, $2,000.
No, but check this out.
Right.
Suppose you need $100,000 of repair. So you're back to the example of 3. So you take $100,000 and you bring that house back to its 2.2, right? So all of a sudden you just came out of the grave. The house is back on the market. It sells for its regular real price. You pay back the reverse, and you're walking away with maybe, I don't know, 1.2? What are you, serious? I mean, it doesn't take a scientist to understand numbers. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Does Florida know about you?
I'm trying. That's why, hopefully starting July 1st, I'm doing a Comcast commercial in the Boca Del Rey, well, it's really Del Rey, Boynton Beach area.
Yeah. We need to do a seminar, Paul. You gotta get this out there because people are struggling. I gotta tell you something. People are struggling right now to pay their mortgage, the HOA, and if the house needs repair. People are struggling because there's no money to be found no place. And I don't want to hear about insurance. I don't want to hear about none of that nonsense. It ain't happening.
Right.
And do you have to qualify financially for the reverse?
That's the beautiful thing about it. So you don't have to, your credit score doesn't matter. You do have to show some assets that you can pay your bills, your everyday bills, but it's not like going for a mortgage with the bank where you have to give your firstborn. That doesn't happen. So it's a lot easier to qualify. So it's almost like taking out a line of credit, but even again, if you go to the bank for a line of credit, they want to know your income, they want to know your assets, they want to know your bills and everything else. Really, it's solely, the loan is based on the value of the house and what that appraisal comes back at. You do have to take counseling. So the government came out recently in the last couple of years where you have to do counseling for $120, $140 to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. But that's it. So really, it's out of pocket, could be zero. So it's either zero or an appraisal fee.
$400?
Yeah, that's it. Some of the companies eat the $400. So literally, it's just that counseling fee, and that's it. And again, you can go through it, see what you can get out of it, and if you don't want to take it, you don't take it. But I was going to do it for my parents to sort of have a line of credit, right? So if they didn't have a mortgage at the time, and we were going to do it, but my dad was fighting me. We don't want a mortgage. We didn't do it. but we should have done it because that
Should've.
was the easiest way to get money out of the house until I sold the house. Instead, we had to use assets instead of that.
Even if you had done it and he wanted the house back, you could have still paid it back.
It's the same
Yeah.
principle,
Yeah.
OPM. Using
other people's money.
right? To do
This
what
is
you need
better
to
than
do.
OPM. This is better because it gives you flexibility. If you need to repair the house, if you got a medical emergency, if you got a dying parent, if you got whatever, you have assets in your house. Most seniors, they have very small mortgages. I'm assuming
But it
that.
has to be a house, not a condo, correct?
Correct. It has to be a homeowner association, condos, just because it's an FHA loan, and FHA and condos don't mix, especially here in Florida. It just doesn't work. So it's got to be a house or a villa, something with an HOA. And that's the first question I did. Is it a homeowner association or is it a condo association?
Oh, baby. HOA. So it's an FHA loan,
It's an FHA loan.
which is, I used to be a Mini Eagle FHA. So you can actually go to any bank, or do you have people that you work with?
Well, again, when it comes to reverse mortgages, I have one or two people that I know will get the job done. So that's, I mean, there are people that do it, some dabble in it. The mortgage brokers say, oh, I can do that. But I deal with companies that strictly just do reverse mortgages because that's what they're
What's
good
the length of time to get it accomplished by your people?
at. 30 to 45 days. It's like a typical mortgage. I mean, and the interest rate, because that's another question everybody asks, oh, it must be a higher interest rate? No. The going rate is what the mortgage rates are. So when it was down to 2 point something, a reverse mortgage loan was 2 point something. You know,
It's
now
about
at-
6%.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always options, but people, you always say panic. Then it's their pride. I don't want to do that. I can't do it. I'm not going to qualify. It's all those naysayers. You might very well qualify.
But wait a minute, the 6%, why does it matter if you're paying off the mortgage and you're keeping the proceeds? Why does the 6% matter?
The 6% is what the bank is charging you to do the mortgage, but you're not paying it. When
It's
you're
coming out
paying
of the
it, is at the
proceeds.
back end.
It's the back end when
It's
you
coming
sell
out of
it.
the proceeds.
Well, it's
So it's like a closing cost.
Well, no, there's closing costs. So let's say typically closing costs on a reverse mortgage might be 5% on a, so people like that's another reason why they don't do it. Wow, they're expensive. Okay, but that 5%, again, if we're using a $300,000, $400,000 house, it's $15,000 to $20,000 is the closing cost. Within the closing cost, because if it's FHA, there's mortgage insurance. So that's a big chunk of that. And that's kind of so the banks won't get burnt on the backside if the market tanks.
80%.
So what happens is that plus interest plus whatever fees to close is already in there. So if you're going for a $300,000 mortgage, really you're starting at $315,000 to $318,000. That's the balance is starting. And then it's going to start accumulating at that 5 to 6% right now, depending what the interest rate is. So again, it's 5 or 6 growing, but your house over the years, it's not somebody that wants to pull money out and sell a house in a year or two, then this is expensive. So they say you really should be in the house for at least another 5 years. Obviously, death is something uncontrollable, but you shouldn't sell the house because that's kind of where the break even might turn in 4, 5, 6 years to where the expense and then the appreciation at least will be there. And then the money that obviously that's in the bank or with your financial advisor, hopefully if they're half decent, that's growing at 6, 7, 8% a year, no matter how bad the market is.
So you're going to pay the 6% monthly if you sell the house. In other words, if I keep it for a year and I sell it, my note is going to be the 500,000 or the 300,000. Because I'm getting 500 on our example. I walk away with 3 and 2 is going to the mortgage.
Right, so that 500,000 plus the interest and closing costs will be due in that year, after the year.
Okay,
So
but
1
I
year
can use it out of proceeds?
That's going to come right off the top. So let's say you sell the house for $1 million, whatever it might be, $1.2 million, they're going to pay back the 500, right? And then the interest for the year and closing costs, whatever that might be, $20,000, $30,000, then you receive the proceeds.
Okay, but 20 or 30,000 on the numbers that are so big
That's
in
because
today's
you're
market.
talking big numbers.
But that's what's happening in the market right
There are
now.
other homes that aren't, right? Like your
Yeah,
in-laws, where
Yeah, like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on average.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
what was the mortgage? 100,000?
Yeah, 100 to 200,000. Right.
That's, I mean, that's still good money. But right now, what's happening in the market is they're selling $200,000 homes for $1 million.
Right.
I mean, I get Zulu and all these things
Oh,
telling
it's
me
unbelievable. If
it's
you
just
look what's
nuts.
selling- I know.
And then people want to buy cash because they want to get the hell out of Dodge. They want to get out of New York. They want to get out of California. and the fires and everything else, and they'll pay. Now, if it's a cash deal, you don't need an appraisal, do you?
No, and that's the frustrating part for the buyers that are out there, like I have. I have multiple people coming down from New York, and they're at a price point where they're going. My client is going for a mortgage, and they're losing every deal because I keep telling them the house has to appraise. The house has to appraise.
Or you got to put the difference in.
Right, and they don't have it. So they're going to the top of their market where they can qualify and put their 20% down. But I'm saying you need an extra 50 grand. Well, we don't have an extra 50 grand in the bank, so let's start lower. If we start lower, then the house quality might not be there, but they're trying to go for a good school area. And the problem is those houses, if you don't have to tear them down, people are buying those houses just to get into those school systems. And
Yeah.
that's what's happening right here in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 mark.
And
It's
they're not
impossible.
there. Those small, the $3,000 to $4,000 to $6,000 houses, they're all gobbled up already. You're looking at deep end or condo.
Yeah, well, they're selling in a day.
Or you're looking at renting $3,000, $4,000 a month
Yeah.
Easy.
until the market settles down. Really? What I like here is if you have a house and the appraisal value is big enough and you have low mortgage, this is a no-brainer because you could still sell that house, get top value. You could take the money and repair the house. You could take the money and sort of buy dinner that you haven't had in 3 days. There's a lot of things you can do because you're giving people choice.
You could buy long-term care insurance too.
Yes, and you know something? That is very hard to get right now. I got it. My son begs me, don't lose it, because it's very hard to get right now, since what they were telling me. When I used to do mortgages, I used to beg people, I don't care what you buy, because you can always fix it. So I used to fix my house every day. I did the attic, the driveway, and I knew friends. You know, if I needed a sidewalk, it materialized. I mean, what can I tell you? It was that type of life. So if you get in the game, you could do more damage about the house and fixing everything else. It gives you another bullet in your gun to be able to sell the house. But you just gave me a shortcut. The hardest thing for me to find is the material. I think about that. The material to fix the roof, to put the walls back. Because at the end of the day, that house is going to go from here. Thanks to Paul's idea, it's going to go here. I can still sell it, pay this off, and then go rent for $4,000 a month.
If you could find a place to rent, that's a whole nother story. You can't even if you wanted to spend $4 grand, you can't find it.
I'm going to Jupiter, and it's the only place
Well, right.
I know that they're renting right now.
Got to keep going north. Yeah.
It's crazy, crazy. But doing it his way, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're thinking out of the box.
Yep.
I gotta tell you, when I go see my doctor, Dr. Hare, he'll tell you. I said, before you check me out, I want to check you out. How you doing? How you feeling? How's this working today? How are things at home? Why? Because what he's bringing to me is everything that happens to him, right?
Right.
And I can control that aspect. A lot of people, they don't realize that what you're giving them is an opportunity to gain on things they can control.
Yep.
Well, I'm exhausted.
I just want to give a shout out, if I can, please. My son Zach is here with me
Please.
today. Zach does a lot of my marketing. He's going to be doing the commercial with me. He's going to be directing it with me. He also takes care of my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, and posts on Instagram. This is something that's his passion. So we're leaping in together. It's a family affair. My wife
Excellent.
helps me with my real estate. She's a real estate licensed agent. And like I tell people, I have a team. I mean, I can't do everything. I might sound like I can do everything, but I can't. There's only so many hours in a day. I love to talk to people, try and come up with solutions for them, but then I bring in Zach to take care of my marketing, my wife to help me with real estate, I have my insurance people to help me do the quotes and do the illustrations, and I have my assistant who takes care of the Medicaid for me to do the applications. So I have people that surround me. They help me every day answer all the questions that I need.
Welcome, Zach.
Thank you.
You see
Glad
the
to be
madness
here.
that happens in here, right?
What's up, say?
The madness that happens in here.
Yeah, I'm always watching, and it's so different to like be here than see it on.
Than to see it on
see
screen.
Yeah.
I gotta
much
tell
more
you,
control.
my son, who's now, how old is Gio? 25? When he was 14, he helped me create this whole vision. When he was 14. I thought he was nuts, but I said, you know what? Let's roll with it. And here we are now. If he's 25, that's 11 years that we've been producing like Zoom. We've been doing Zoom for 11 years. We didn't call it Zoom, we called it something else. But it goes to show you that the relationship you have with your son and he sees what you do, the impact of what you are promoting, helping him, this is going to go on for the next 10 years because you know this ain't going to go backwards, Paul. This is going to grow.
Yeah.
More of you is needed out there to educate people and give people a choice because right now you're seeing a lot of craziness because people feel they don't have a choice. That's what's going on right now. They feel trapped and they go to this resolution as opposed to thinking out of the box and finding different ways of doing this.
Well, I also find it too. I mean, Zach's an inspiration to me. You know, a lot of people, you know, you have your older parent, everybody looks up to their parent, but I always look down to Zach. I don't mean down to him because he's just younger. But if you listen to the younger generation, there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of things going on, especially in the society today, that what they think and how they think is so much different the way that I was brought up. Because I'm more old school at my age. My parents were a big influence. And again, I didn't really understand the world. But being around a 20-something-year-old, my other son, really grounds me to understand priorities and things like that. And as they're starting their families, their girlfriends, things like that, it kind of makes me younger again, but also understand what's going on today. And I owe that to Zach.
We're excited to work with you, Zach.
Yeah, it's truly awesome to just even come here and have conversations about video specs and all that and helping my dad out. It's just been like a really cool experience. It's like in that firsthand experience and he's like, hey, I need this, and I'm up on YouTube and Googling stuff, how to do this, you know, to then be able to learn it and just self-teaching myself all of this so that I can get him the best product so that I can kind of learn for myself. And it's been really cool hearing everything he's been doing here. So he's like, yeah, they have a studio, they're doing this commercial, and I'm like, commercial? I didn't even think of that. Now I got to learn stuff for that. So just been really cool experience in him joining and being with you guys, and now he's learning more of all this production stuff, which is only going to help him and then help me, and our family's very connected, so we're always helping each other out.
Lou,
So.
who brings to the table for so many people, is amazing. And they don't realize it. And people our age are like, nah, there's nothing that can help mom and dad. They've done this, they've lived their life, they need now to deal with it, which is a very defeatist attitude because you offer so many options, but the only way for those options to get out is working with you and working with marketing like we get to do and giving your dad more radio time. You're going to be with Alita on Monday night at 6 o'clock, which I'm excited about at WNN. Because there's no way to cram all of this in a 30-minute episode on Tuesday.
And there's going to be a double header because Alita is going to go first and then the Wemp ladies are going to go second. We're going to try something different. You know, we always try something different. So I'm going to do a back-to-back, it's called. So it's not an hour show, but it is. Because I want to start with him in one aspect and then I'm going to bring in some other people and change it around a woman's perspective. Because male and women have two different perspectives on the same language. So it should be a lot of fun on Monday, and we do this all day long. Is we try to switch it up to give people a different look at what we're talking about, like you did today.
How do people reach you?
So my cell phone, it's my only number, so you're gonna reach me whether you want to or not, 954-540-6609. My email is paulsolomonpa@gmail.com, or you can go to my websites, luhuadvisors.com, or luhurealty.com, or Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, right, Zach? We're all there. We're all over the place.
They're fantastic. And actually, next Wednesday, we are launching in New York, WGHT, New York in New Jersey at 12 o'clock. I know we have Wemp Wednesdays on Wednesday, but maybe you can join us for our kickoff show on Wednesday in New York,
I'd love to.
because I know you need to deal with the Florida population, but there's a lot of families that live in New York that have their parents down here.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome.
As you call that, the snowbird effect.
The snowbird effect. And if you want to come and talk to Paul at the radio station, you're more than welcome. Show up around 5:30. Come on up. You can watch the show, and afterwards, there's plenty of rooms all over the place if you want to talk to him. And I got to tell you, after the discussion that I had with you, if you're in the soup right now and you need a bail, you need to do something safely, talk to the man, because if not, and you get yourself in a position where it's too late to do anything, you're going to be crying a lot of tears. So you're more than welcome to come down on Monday at 1650 South Dixie at the radio station.
All right, have a great day, everyone. Tune in tonight for a recap on Tap with Alana as our very own producer, Alana Shearer, heads off to the Miss Florida competition in 2 weeks. So check that out. We've got first airing of Bree TV. We'll see what that looks like at 7:30.
Bree TV.
You've got Ask the Experts at 6:30. We've got March for Our Lives on Saturday from 9 to 12 over at west side of Parkland, so we'll post that address as well for people, what's going on. And a new show coming out, Inside Out with Haley, where she's going to reach out to her friends and all of those that have been impacted by what's been happening in Parkland and the mental health component for her generation. So that's going to be coming out hopefully next week.
And we have Genesis tonight, 9 o'clock. Genesis, it's in Pompano?
In Pompano.
In Pompano. We're going to be there for a little stay. We're going to be talking to people.
You got a busy day ahead of you.
And Saturday, we're going to be at the Arts Piece.
Mac Fine Arts Gallery up in Delray Beach, About Women Fine Arts Show. About a dozen women creating all of their fine arts, specializing for women, about women, the empowerment of women, what it's like to be a creative in this space. So join us from 6 to 9 p.m. for their kickoff show that runs through July 1st. A lot of great information.
And that's only this week. We're going to have more stuff next week.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Please be kind to each other. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. drive time.
And as always, don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
There was a noise from somewhere deep. We heard the sound, it was bittersweet. Voices calling out from an aching heart, getting so much closer by staying apart, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. Love is the word, and hope is the song. The streets are empty, but the sky is clear. You want somebody and can't have them near. Taking shelter where you can when the world is at stake. Alone together, trying hard not to break, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong.